Hey everybody, I will say it again and again and again. 2022 is going to be an amazing book year. And February has some fantastic titles that I cannot wait to tell you about. So today is all about 8 books that are coming out in February 2022 that I need to make sure are on your TBR. So let's get started. Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's Russell with Ink and Paper Blog. How are you all doing today? As always, I hope you're happy, I hope you're healthy, I hope you're safe, and of course, I hope you're reading an amazing book or 2 or 3 or 4. It is in the 80s in Northern California, which is insane for this type of year, to be honest. And I'm in a tank top, so I'm not going to complain. I enjoy the weather. I enjoy getting out. My husband and I have been walking our dogs on these long walks, enjoying the sunshine. I can read outside in February, which never happens, so I am super excited about it. But today we're here to talk about books. Now, February is releasing some amazing titles. Of course, I cannot mention them all in this video. Today we're only going to talk about 8 of them, but they are 8 fantastic books. So get out your pen, your paper, your Goodreads, however you keep track of your TBR. If you are so able, please order these books from your local independent bookstore. As always, they need our support throughout the year. And if you're a library user, get your library to get a copy. They need our support too throughout the year, every day. They all need our support, and if we can help, we really should. So the first 2 books that I'm going to talk about are actually 2 books that probably need very little hype because they are 2 of the biggest books coming out this year. And I'll be honest with you, I've been struggling a little bit with this first one on how to summarize it clearly, and that's the Book of Jacob by Olga Tokarczuk, and this is out from Riverhead Books, translated from the Polish by Jennifer Croft. This is a fictionalized account of a real-life man, Jacob Frank, who lived in the mid-18th century. He was one of those people that had just like a way about him, like he could cast this spell over people. This book takes place across different countries, different empires, as Jacob continues to reinvent himself within different religions, within different societies, and sort of how just the story of this man and his enigmatic nature and how he just encaptures all these people. Some people think he's like it's like almost cult-like, but he has this lasting effect. And Olga takes this real-life, mysterious person we don't know all that much about and turns it into an magnus opus. So that's the Books of Jacob by Olga Tokarczuk, translated by Jennifer Croft, out now from Riverhead. Okay. I feel better now because, to be honest with you, it's been taking me a while to get this video done because I've been struggling on how to summarize that one. So hopefully I did an okay job and it just popped up on your TBR. The next book is Moon Witch, Spider King by Marlon James. This is the second book in his fantasy trilogy. With the first book being Black Leopard, Red Wolf, which was shortlisted for the National Book Award, which I will be honest, when I started Red Leopard, Black Wolf, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know that this is for me. And by the end of it, I was absolutely blown away. It was so good. So I'm so excited for the sequel. Now this takes one of the characters that we met in the first book and gives us the story, connecting that story to her, the Moon Witch. And it says here, at the center of this startlingly fantastic, inventive novel is Sogolan, a fearless and resourceful woman who remembers. Mocked and battered as a child, she is drawn into a life as a servant at a royal court, where she learns that power is the ultimate goal. It's there that she comes to know Kimi, a royal scout, and because of him, she learns to harness her rage and her passion, her hate and her vengeance, and becomes the Moon Witch. Now, you remember the part that, if you've read the first book, that's a whole journey type narrative about saving this boy, finding and saving this one boy. And this book she's one of the characters that you meet in that, and this gives us her story and so much more, I am absolutely sure. It's just a fantastic fantasy world with just so much character and oh, it's so good. He's such an amazing writer. So that's Moon Witch Spider King by Marlon James. If you haven't read the first one, highly recommend that you do, and then jump into number 2. I will say that it does have some violence, sexuality, and all of that. So if just giving you a warning there, so you don't not surprised, but it's worth it. All of it means something to the narrative, and it is so very, very good. Okay, so the next book I want to tell you about is Pure Color by Sheila Heti, and this is out from FSG. Comes out on Tuesday, so you can get your hands on it. Sorry, I looked at the date on my watch there for a minute. I don't even know how to explain this book, but it sounds like this meditation on self and space. And so we're in this, we meet this character named Mira. So she leaves home to study, and there she meets Annie. So Mira and Annie, and Annie opens up sort of this power in Mira, and she doesn't really know what it's supposed to be. But when her father dies, and his spirit passes, they turn into, I don't even know how to explain this. So together they become a leaf on a tree. But photosynthesis gets boring, and being alive is a problem that cannot be solved even by a leaf. Eventually, Mira must remember the human world she left behind, including Annie, and choose whether or not to return. So I don't know what this book is going to hold, but I just think that it sounds like we're going to get a lot of, just introspection and about like the importance of living the life you have, not running away, challenging yourself. Things are going to have ups and downs. We're going to have loss and all of that kind of stuff. But we have to sort of figure out what we're going to do with that. So that's Pure Color by Sheila Heti, out from FSG. And I'm really excited about that one. I'm hoping, I have a stack of books that I'm trying to get through. And this stack of books is like this. I can't even fit on the screen, y'all. It's so big. But that one's in it because I think it sounds fantastic. A book that I've actually already read that came out this month is Clean Air by Sarah Blake. This is out from Algonquin Books. So if you are a fan of a dystopian novel, this book takes place in this dystopian world where trees have started to overpollinate so much that humans cannot breathe the air. It killed many, many of us off. And we've reverted to living sort of in these bubbles with these masks and so on and so forth. At the center of this is a woman and her family. She has a young daughter who has been waking up in the night in these nightmares, and all of a sudden a serial killer is on the loose, someone who is walking around sort of puncturing people's homes so that the atmosphere of the world gets inside. And there's a connection between that and this the main character's young daughter, and she wants to solve this mystery, and she becomes involved in that and all of sort of those pieces. It is a page turner of a thriller. I don't want to give it any away because it is so inventive and creative, and the world is important, but it's really a backdrop to this thriller-esque nature. So I asked Sarah a question on Twitter, and she said that people have been asking her for a prequel to this book, and I support that. I want to know how we got here. So I really, really enjoyed Clean Air by Sarah Blake, out from Algonquin Books right now. It is so very good. I read it in like a day. It is like a page turner. You will enjoy it, I promise. If you're looking for something a little more thrillery and looking for something to keep you on the edge of the seat, I recommend The Violence by Delilah S. Dawson. This is out from Del Rey Books. And this book is about a young woman named Chelsea. So her life is run in almost a perfect nature of fear of what will happen if she makes a mistake and how that will make her husband react, okay? So she's clearly in a very troubled, not healthy relationship. And then something starts to happen in the world, something called the violence. It says that it's a mysterious condition that overtakes the world, and it's just known as the violence, and it causes people, the infected, to experience sudden rages of violence. And now this main character, Chelsea, needs to decide if this is maybe an out from the relationship that she has been in and a path towards happier living. Does that sound like the way to put it. I think this book sounds fantastic. I can already sort of see it in my head as a movie. And yeah, I'm gonna dive in. I'm thinking I'm going to have like a chunky book month coming up. Maybe it'll be March or April where I read a couple of books that are just bigger, because you know, I read one book at a time. So if I read a book of this length, it's gonna take me a little bit of time, which is absolutely fine, but it just means I'll read less than a month. But this one sounds like it's going to be so thrilling and so good. So that's The Violence by Delilah S. Dawson, out from Del Rey Books. You can get your hands on it now. And I know that because I saw it in the bookstore today before I made this video. A little bit more translated fiction. We have The Last Wild Horses by Maja Lunde, translated from the Norwegian by Diane Oatley, out from HaperVia. And this comes out this month. I don't know if I have an exact date. I apologize. Now, I've been told, so you may remember Maja Lunde for her book, The History of Bees. I've been told that this is like part of that trilogy. I've been told this online, so I haven't double checked it, but I think all of them are out in her native language, so I think we're getting them in English. This is actually a book told in 3 different time periods. We have a future, 2064, where we have a woman named Ava who is runs a farm, and she's doing everything she can to keep this farm in business, and she has a mare that is about to foal. And then a young woman arrives unexpectedly and with secrets that will keep them all together. And then we're in 1992. We have Karen, who is has a troubled son, and they travel to Mongolia to reintroduce a breed of horses to their native land. And then we also have Mikhail in Russia in 1881, where the skeleton of a rare wild horse is brought to him, and he goes to Mongolia in order to find this horse and figure out its story. So all 3, 1881 Russia, 1992, 2064, all of that's going to come together, all centered around the idea of a horse, which I love anything that hopefully everything goes well for the horses, because I love an animal story. So that's The Last Wild Horses by Maja Lunde. This is out from HaperVia, and again, it's translated from the Norwegian by Diane Oatley. Okay, 2 more books to get on your radar. One is a skinny little thing, and that is The Swimmers by Julia Otsuka. I'm sorry, Julia. And is it just Julie? There you go. See, this is me. This is me being silly. So this is Julie Otsuka, The Swimmers. Yeah, sometimes you just have a bad day. The Swimmers is a story of a group of swimmers, exactly that. They are obsessed recreational swimmers, and one day a crack starts to develop in their swimming pool. And the way that the book presents itself is that it's a novel about mothers, it's a novel about daughters, it's about grief, love, but it's also at its heart about one woman's experience about being Japanese in America. Now, if you've read any of Julie Otsuka's books, you know she just has such a poetic way with language. Didn't Buddha in the Attic, did that win the National Book Award, right? It was a finalist for the National Book Award. And it was everywhere. And her first novel just got a reprint too, because I got that one in the mail. So you can really just dive into her work. So I apologize, Julie Otsuka, for getting your name all wrong there for a minute. But I want everyone to read The Swimmers, out now from Knopf. You can get your hands on it in February. Okay, last but not least is Where We Lost Our Hearts by Heather O'Neill. Just take a moment and how beautiful this cover is. Heather O'Neill is a Canadian author, and this book takes place mid-19th century in Montreal. And it's really the story of these 2 young women who, one is very, very wealthy, but very, very lonely. And then she meets another girl, and their relationship causes them to, it's rather toxic. It's rather scary. The book opens with this scene of them having a duel between each other, and they turn and they wind up shooting a maid who is rushed down to try to stop them to do with what they are doing. And what eventually winds up happening is the parents step in and they're like, no, your relationship is not healthy. So you two you cannot be friends anymore. But then they go on and they have very adventurous lives until eventually they come back together with an event that has repercussions across the entire city of Montreal. I read The Lonely Hearts Hotel, which was Heather O'Neill's last book, and I absolutely loved it. So I'm super excited to see where she takes us next. So that's When We Lost Our Hearts by Heather O'Neill. This one is also out from Riverhead in this February 2022. Okay, so that I think is a very eclectic. I'm going to try to get all of these books right where you can see them in this picture to end the scene. But I hope that you will pick up all of them, or most of them, or yeah, you know, I say all of them because they're worth it. Let's see if I can hold them up there. There you go. That's not too bad. As always, if you're a return subscriber, I could not do this without you. If you are new to my channel, I thank you so, so much. I really, really appreciate everything. I hope you subscribe. I hope you stick around and click the bell and all of that good stuff. As always, I encourage you to read globally, shop locally, and until next time, I wish you happy reading. Bye, everyone.